My name is Jitendra Patpatia, and I have been practicing Sahaja Yoga meditation for quite some time. And Sahaja Yoga was started in 1970. It's been a long time, by Srimati Nirmala Devi, who kind of introduced it to the masses. Again, giving a little bit of a background. Sahaja Yoga is practiced in, I think, about over 100 countries by a lot of people, millions, but that I always say that does not matter. Whether I practice or somebody else practices something, that does not impact me at all. It is what I can get out of whatever I practice. That is the most important thing. So if I give a little background about Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga was started, as I said, in 70, and Srimati initially started it in Maharashtra, where she was from. And then as she moved around, she moved with her husband to the UK, where he was the Secretary General of the International Maritime Fund, which is one of the UN bodies. So one of the most accomplished Indians. He was knighted by the Queen. And she spread the word of Sahaja Yoga throughout the world for over 41 years. She passed away in 2011. And what she said was that there is nothing new in what she talked about. The only thing that she said if she did something new was to take it to the masses, where this knowledge of our subtle system was always there, meaning everybody knew about it. Our saints, our sages, they knew about it. But it was something that was relatively unknown. And in 1970, when she started, especially in the north, if she would use the word Kundalini, people would think Kundi, which is horoscope, because they had not heard about it, because they used to connect to anything like that. But the subtle system, all the saints, as I said, have talked about it. So if you listen to Kabir Das ji, he's talked about it. He said, Ingala, Pingala, Sukhmana, Nadi. So he's talked about the three channels and how the Kundalini rises. Because he was a weaver, so he would kind of associated the human subtle system with the process of weaving, where you had the sides, which were called Tana Bhani. So he would say, Ingla, Pingla, Tana Bhani. So what they do is they tie a cord at the end of the cloth that they are trying to weave. And then in the middle they have another cord. So he associated with that and said the Ingla Pingla, the left and the right, they are the pillars. And the Sukhamanata tar, which is the central channel, the whole body has been woven around that. Another one, he said, Pangala Khubana Maharaj, that if you listen to that, he says, पांच तत्व की ईंट लगाई तीन गुणों का गारा, and बीच में he says in the center there is a pavan ka khamba. So just to give an idea about how the association was, if you read the Gyaneshwari also, there also they've talked about the Kundalini a lot. So the structure is there, and that is where we will start from. So, our topic today is the second chakra, which is the Swadhishthan. If you can see it from there. We had previous talks in which we talked about the Muladhara, which is the first center. I'll give a little bit of a refresher on that. And we've also talked about the relationship of the chakras with the deities in the past. So I think Arun has got that somewhere.
Yes.
And if you want to read about that, that is another thing that you can take a look at. But in terms of the subtle system, or the system of chakras and nadis, this system has always been there. It is in all human beings, and these chakras, they govern a lot of our body functions at all our levels. So at the physical level, at the emotional level, at the mental level, and at the subtlest, the spiritual level. These chakras control us from inside out. So it is not something that we can see, it is not something that we can feel very actively till we get to a state. And these chakras, when we talk about yoga these days, we talk about the asanas mainly. That is what the concept is. But yoga, if some of you understand Sanskrit, means union, yoga, coming together. So if any one of us has studied in a colloquial school, they would say, bring these two together, add these two things together, that is the yoga of this and this is this. So the union is the real meaning of yoga. It is not the exercises. The exercises of the asanas were when the master knew, the guru knew which chakra in my disciple is caught up, he would say, you do this asana. And he would prescribe that asana for a limited period of time. It was not like he would say, oh, you keep on doing this, or here are 40 asanas, you keep doing that. Because it is not, Shrimataji would always give the example, if a screw is tight, and if we keep tightening the screw, you will break the system rather than heal it. So the asanas have to be prescribed. That is what it was. The gurus, because they would be able to feel the chakras of the disciple, would guide and kind of say, okay, you do this. You don't do this, you do this. So that is a little bit of a background. But this subtle system, as I said, controls us from the inside out. And when one of these chakras is not functioning properly, it has impacts. It has impacts in terms of, as I said, the physical being, the emotional being, we get emotional imbalances, mentally we become unstable. And spiritually we do not realize, but we are getting out of balance. We are going away from our true nature. And there are many things that help us heal those chakras. And like we sleep, we rest, we do things. These things, they start healing our chakras. But they take it to a point, but then we go back to our old habits. We go and we eat like a glutton, or we do this. I am used to doing this, so I'll continue to do this. I live in an atmosphere, I need to watch 4 hours of TV or 5 hours of TV a day, whatever. Meaning these are our habits. Or the manifestation could be, I want to achieve this, this is what I need to do, this is where I need to go, this is what my life has to be 2 years from now. So that ego that drives us there. All those things, they have an impact, and those influences, they add up, they build up, and they start manifesting in the forms of diseases, in the forms of stress, in the form of tensions that we develop, in the form of imbalances in relationships. So we are talking about these chakras influencing us, but what is the solution? If I can talk about the disease, you go to a doctor and he keeps on talking about it. You've got this, you've got this, you've got this. The main thing is, give me the medicine. Is there something that can help? That is the real question. So when the divine built this human body, he put in all of us this energy, which is the Kundalini energy. Like Kabir Das ji used the word Surati for it. Even though in Bihar, if you go, Surati these days means tobacco. So this is how we pervert things. But Surati is the Surat, basically the Kundalini is what he was referring to. And it is a maternal energy. It is a residual energy, it is a maternal energy in all of us. And when this mother is awakened, what it does is it rises through these 6 chakras. Mainly these 6 chakras. The 7th chakra, the Mooladhara, is the Mool Adhar. It is at the base of the Mother Kundalini. That Kundalini, and we talked about it, the deity of the Mooladhara is Shri Ganesh. That is why everything starts from Shri Ganesh. He is the protector of the Mother Kundalini. So he is the child, as prescribed in our scriptures. So, but the Mother Kundalini, it rises once it sees that there is somebody who can awaken it. Why is it dormant? It is dormant because the seed has not been planted in Mother Earth. So it's like, we are like if you look at it, this is a structure that is not awakened. So a seed is very similar. A seed needs to be placed into the Mother Earth to be awakened. Right? So very similarly, the Mother Kundalini and the prelude of that seed starts rising. It finds it through its innate wisdom. It finds the source of water and nourishment. Then it grows and grows and grows till it forms a huge tree. So the whole structure is already there. The only thing is to get it awakened. So when the Mother Kundalini finds that there is someone who can awaken it, it rises. And when it rises through these 6 chakras like a thread going through beads. And when it does that, it is not just penetrating through these, it is starting to nourish them. It is the mother. When it nourishes them, it starts healing them from inside. And when it penetrates the 6th center, if you see the Agya, number 6 over there, which is here, we get into the state of meditation automatically, sahaja, spontaneously. We become silent from inside. This is a happening. This is not a doing. Once the Mother Kundalini crosses the Agya chakra, we become meditative. But once it crosses the Sahasrara, the 7th chakra, we become yogis. We get into the state of what we call self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar. Both the meanings are the same. Atma Sakshatkar means knowing ourselves. Right? We know what we are, we truly are. But we can read books about that. What is the difference? What is the difference when I can read, oh, Shivoham, Shivoham. I can recite it, I can read it, I can sing it loud. What is the difference? There is a difference between knowing and learning. I know all religions are one, but if I see a Muslim, I react very differently. Why is that? If I see a person, I know a lot, but knowledge does not become me. Till it becomes me, it is all outside. It is all mental. And mental will not take you anywhere. I can understand, if I drink water, my thirst will be quenched. I keep learning that, but I stay thirsty. I don't become, it is not nourished me as of yet. So that is what the Mother Kundalini does. Once it rises, it comes through comes out through the fontanel bone. So even the Greeks knew. So the bone, at the triangular bone, they called it the sacrum bone. This was called the fontanel bone. So they knew about this. They were deeper people too. And so once this rises and the Mother Kundalini comes out of the Sahasrara, we get our Atma Sakshatkar. But at that stage, in the Bible it is said that at that stage you are even more delicate than, when you are in the form of a seed. So think of a seed. Again, seed is protected. But once it sprouts, it is a very delicate thing. So it needs a little nourishment, which is meditation, dhyan, nyas is what the word is in Sanskrit. Once you have the nyas, the self-realization gets established. So that at a very high level is the whole process of the awakening of the Mother Kundalini. Now, these chakras, what do they do? What is the purpose of these chakras? That is what we will what we've been talking about. So the last time, as I said, we talked about the Mooladhara chakra. Today we will talk about the Swadhishthan chakra. The Swadhishthan chakra is the second chakra, and at times it is called the third chakra. And the reason behind that is that if you see the Mother Kundalini, it rises and first goes to the Nabhi chakra, the Manipur, as it is called. And then this particular chakra, which is the Swadhisthana, the Swadhisthana, it is like rotating around us. And then it goes to the second chakra, the Swadhisthana, and then continues to rise. So, when we are talking about the second chakra, we have to realize that it is this particular, the Swadhisthana is like the third chakra. I don't know if you can see all this, but I will go through this. On the Swadhisthana chakra, we will talk about the left side. So each chakra has got three aspects. And we will talk about the left Swadhisthana and the right Swadhisthana. What are the properties, or what are the qualities of the left side of the Swadhisthana chakra and the right side of the Swadhisthana chakra? We will talk about that. We will talk briefly about the story of creation. And why is that relevant? Because the deity associated with the Swadhisthana chakra is Sri Brahmadeva. And he is the creator. We will briefly talk about the story of the creation. Then we will go into the little bit of the mythological references of Sri Brahmadeva and Ma Saraswati. And then we will talk about the qualities and the characteristics of the Swadhisthana chakra. After that, we will actually sit for meditation for about 5-10 minutes, where we will see if the Mother Kundalini can be awakened. And again, the basic thing that is there is when we talked about going to a doctor and the doctor just talking about the medicine, or is there something more to it? So, as I said, Shrimati, the only when she was asked what is the difference between Sahaja Yoga and other yogas, she said, "Beta, main yoga ka daan deti." That is the difference. Meaning that she said that I give you the yoga. It is not like that you do this for lives and lives together. And when people would say, well, in our scriptures it is written that you have to work for your lives, many, many lives to get to the state of self-realization. So she would ask a question, how do you know you've not done this before? Meaning, why do you keep thinking that we are not ready? So that is the question. So then we will do that meditation and see if we can feel that this all-pervading power, the Param Chaitanya, the Ruh, as it is called in the Quran, or the divine cool breeze of the Holy Ghost, on our own system. Again, the difference between mental knowledge And true knowledge is the bodha, the experience. Understanding can take us to a point. It makes us appreciate. I can appreciate, I need this, I want this. The desire becomes stronger. That is the mental part of it. That is the importance of the mental part. But the real thing is, can I get to that? And that is the bodha. That is why Buddha, who was Siddhartha, became the Buddha. Because he got to the state of self-realization, and we'll try to see if we can do that. I always digress, I'm sorry. But this is what we see over here, very similar. The only thing that I will add over here is, when we talk about the medical science, they see these hubs, the chakras. They call them the plexuses. So the solar plexus, the cardiac plexus, the aortic plexus. I always say that wrong. But these are the plexuses, the optic chiasm over here. So like that, they see those hubs, but they just see them from the outside. So this particular slide has those chakras and those channels, and shares them with you. You can take a look at that. And this particular slide has the deities associated with each of those chakras. Now we talk about the Sanatana. If you have heard the word Sanatana Dharma, one interpretation of that is that Tana, that it is associated with this body. These deities are associated with our body, with our subtle system. Like the Mooladhara is associated with Lord Ganesha. The Swadhisthana, the deity of the Swadhisthana is Sri Brahmadeva and Ma Saraswati. The Nabhi is Sri Vishnu, Narayana, and Ma Lakshmi. The center heart is Ma Jagadamba. And on the left side is Sri Shiva Parvati, where the Atma is. And on the right side is Sri Sitaram. On the Kantha, the 16 petals of this particular chakra, Sola Kala, as we say, Sampurn, is Sri Krishna. He is the deity of this particular chakra. The Agya chakra is Sri Mahavishnu, represented in our scriptures. And Lord Christ, as he's again, you see the association of Sri Ganesha and Lord Christ. Both are supposed to be immaculate conceptions. If you see the Mula, how Sri Ganesha was born, he was born created by Mother Lakshmi alone. And when Sri Shiv came and he tried to resist him going to his wife, he cut off his head, and that is how he got his elephant head. That story is there, right? So, and then the Sahasrara, this is the seat of the Parabrahma, thus Sadashiva. We use the word Sri Shiv and Sri Sadashiva. There is a difference, and the difference is basically that we as the Atma can be the Shivas, but the Parabrahma is the Parabrahma. He always is eternal. So at a high level, that is what we talk about. And this is a slide which talks about each of the deities. So let us talk a little bit about the creation, the process of creation. Now we've said that Lord Brahmadeva is the creator. But then who is Sri Sadashiva? What is the role of Lord Vishnu? What is the role of Sri Mahakal or Sri Shiva? So in our Puranas, the way the process or the creation is described is that before everything started, it was one, Brahma, Parabrahma, Sadashiva. And he, on his own, decided to create out of himself, because there is nothing else. He is the only one. But he, out of himself, had the desire to create, to see his own creation. That is what it is. That is why the whole thing is called a Maya. So he separated from his own power, Sri Adi Shakti, and said, let's create. So there is no difference between the Shiva and his Shakti. It is he who himself decides and he who himself separates from this power. So the discussion about the Shiva and Shakti. And when they separated, the dhvani, the sound that came out was the Omkara, the Nar. Many words have been used about it. And that is when the Adi Shakti, the Shakti of the Parabrahma, the Shakti of Sadashiva starts creating. It itself separates into the Trinity that we call it, the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. The aspects, again, the aspects of the same God splits into these three powers, and their Shaktis, Sri Mahalakshmi, Sri Mahasaraswati, Sri Mahakala. Again, out of the same source, these deities, which are the various aspects is the word that we should remember with. There is no difference between them. They are the aspects of the same source. And then the mother, Adi Shakti, through these powers started creating. They created the three lokas. They created the three gunas in all of us. And they created everything within it. Again, that is why we say he is all pervading, because he is all pervading. That is why we say it is all Maya, because it is his Maya. That is why we are here in this form, whatever we may call it, as human beings. The epitome of creation. Why are we called the epitome of creation? What is the difference? Because we now have the ability to merge once again, to get self-realization, to realize that we are a part and parcel of that, to be in yoga. So all those things, if you connect together, the creation started with one and it will merge again in one. When Sri Shiva will come and destroy, it is not destruction. It will be the merging. That is why he's called the Mahakal. Kal is, we use the word as time, but it is the destructive power of time is called Kala. So that is what it is. So the story of the creation at a very, very high level, if it is this out of the same source, going back into the same source. The rest we keep saying is Maya, it's Maya, it's Maya, but we don't. We get stuck because, I have to go to college, I have to work, I have to earn money, this. How many generations, billions and billions of people are doing the same thing. But the real purpose, they always say, is to merge. So that is what yoga is, that is what we will try to do today. So, from that high level, we will come back to the Swadhishthan Chakra and talk about the two aspects of the Swadhishthan Chakra. Actually, all chakras have three aspects, the left, the right and the center. The left Swadhisthana is a very important center. It is the center of pure knowledge, pure. Why? What is the difference? What is pure and what is impure? The pure knowledge is the knowledge of the working of the divine. How the divine works, that is pure knowledge. How the Mother Kundalini rises, how the trees grow, how the whole thing is the pure knowledge. Everything else is impure. Again, if you look from the high level, if you can learn this, that is the most important thing. The rest kind of is important, but not. So that is why it is called the Shuddha Vidya. The left Swadhisthana, once it is open, we understand the working of the divine. If you think about any saint, any saint, they never went to university, they never read millions of books, they did not have those tremendous mental knowledges. Then because the knowledge is within us, the only thing is it gets awakened. The desires, I see the one thing and I understand it this way. You see the same thing, you understand it differently. What is the difference there again? If my left Swadhisthana is open, I am able to absorb the right thing. Like a Hansa picking the motis. That is the difference. If the left Swadhisthana is open, I understand in the real way. The knowledge is real. I don't get lost in that. The right Swadhisthana is the seat of creativity, where the process of creation, again, Shri Brahmadeva. So the creativity, if my right Swadhisthana is completely open, I become a creative person. The desires that I have are very creative. The creations of a person whose right Swadhisthana is open is literally eternal. Meaning, so you look at Mona Lisa, she's pretty, by modern standards, she's a pretty hefty woman, you know. But why are millions and billions of people going there? If once you get to the state of realization, you go there and you check the vibrations of her, you feel the power, kind of. Again, all theory, till we get there. A little bit again about the mythology. So Shri Brahmadeva, how many of us has seen a temple of Shri Rama, Shri Krishna, all over the places, right? But why are there not temples of Shri Brahmadeva? Have you been to any? Very few. Very few. They are there, but they are very few. So there are, in our Puranas, there are many stories. So if you read like Hindu Sanatana and a lot of our Puranas, they have stories as to why Brahmadeva, Shri Brahmadeva is not worshipped. They have stories where, you know, he was cursed by one guru, or that is why he was not. But that is one aspect of it. But if you go to the Vedas, they describe him as the Chaturmukha Brahmadeva. And it is said you cannot worship him because he is all-pervading. As mortals, you cannot reach him. The only way to reach him is through Vishnu. And why through Vishnu? Because Shri Vishnu is the sustainer. He comes, he incarnates. He takes us to the next level. Every time he takes us through this process, guides us, like Shri Krishna, Shri Rama. So we have the Matsya, taking the fishes out of the water, you know, to the land. Like that, the whole process of evolution. So this is the little bit of story associated with Shri Brahmadeva. And the other thing is, if you know the Gayatri mantra, you have Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, like that. But if you read the whole mantra, it is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Manaha Janaha Tapaha Satyam. This is if you read the full Gayatri mantra. Those are the 7 steps. And the second is the Bhurva, the Antariksha. Because Shri Brahmadeva is the creator. So he is associated with the Antariksha also. So a little bit of basics about the Swadhisthana Chakra. Now we're going into the very specifics of the Swadhisthana Chakra. The Swadhisthana Chakra is the second chakra again. It's got these 6 petals on it. And these 6 petals represent different properties, different characteristics, different qualities that are there in all of us, that they manifest. Its color is yellow. Again, each chakra has got its own dhvani. remember the Nav, but anyway. So, and the Sahaja Yoga Pada Nisa. So this is the ray. And this particular chakra, once it is got the other things associated with it, where we can talk about where it is represented. So once you start feeling the vibrations, what you feel is that you feel it on your extremities. The Chaitanya that you feel it on your extremities, and it is the thumb where you will feel if your chakra is catching or not. So once you start feeling the vibrations, that is where you will feel it. It is the thumb, and on our feet, this is all shown here, so I cannot show it to you. It's the third finger, so your thumb, the second finger and the third finger where it is represented. And in the pithas, it is here. So this is, I'm associating it with the body, how we feel the particular chakra. What are the properties? We talked about the creativity, we talked about the pure knowledge. But one of the things that the Swadhisthana, if it is not working properly, is our whole digestive system is impacted. If the Swadhisthana is not completely open, our digestive system is impacted. The left Swadhisthana, if it is severely impacted, we'll have diarrhea and stuff like that. We will not be able to retain our food. But if the right Swadhisthana is overactive, it is used too much and is affected, we will have things like constipation, we will have liver problems, our attention, so those kinds of things will be impacted. One very important part of what the Swadhisthana chakra does is it creates the cells for the brain. So the brain is called the medha, meaning it is basically a lump of fat. And the Swadhisthana chakra is responsible for creating those cells. If we are always thinking, tension, worry, what do we need to do tomorrow? I'm a programmer, this program is not working. Work throughout my life to kind of get to that point. My Swadhisthana chakra is overworking, creating the medha, nourishing the brain. It starts neglecting all the organs in the abdomen, and I will develop issues here. So that is one of the things that is associated with the Swadhisthana. Once the Mother Kundalini rises, you will see that our system becomes balanced. What we eat becomes a little more balanced automatically. This is not something that we have to do from outside. It starts happening to us. So, if we overthink, if we overplan, if we get tense about things, our Swadhisthana will go up. So once the Mother Kundalini rises, we start reacting to our situation differently. We become more comfortable. I don't get as worked up as I used to be. That is the thing that starts there. And so it has got all these properties that just one chakra can give us. But the question becomes, how does it work? Will it work? And does it work or not? That is what we will try to do today. If you have any questions, we can talk about that at this stage, or we can do it after the meditation session, whatever works. If you have any questions, I can try to answer with whatever limited knowledge I have. Then we can, yeah.
What part do the beach sounds play in
the bija mantras? Yeah.
Chakras.
So every chakra has the bija mantras. The mantras are there, but So there are many ways to move a car. You can push it. You can turn its wheels, and try to move it. But the best way is to turn the ignition and let the car move on its own. So the Mother Kundalini is like the ignition. Once she awakens, all these sounds are there. But if it gets awakened and it goes through these, they create those dhvanis. But they are always, they become insignificant, let me put it this way. When you are working on one particular chakra, that dhvani is important. The yogis would spend their lives working on one chakra. But if the Mother Kundalini gets awakened, then she is the one who produces all those sounds. She is the one who is the one who creates those sounds. And the resonance that you feel, the music, one particular raga is good for that particular chakra. Those kinds of things are there. But those things are not important if the Mother Kundalini is present. So things like the Jneo, we have those things where they say once you have reached your realization, you don't need the Jneo. That is the state that you get into. So that is what this is. Once you get your self-realization, that is the purpose. The theory has become redundant if the actualization happens. That is the thing that is there. So we will just spend about 5-7 minutes, if that's okay, in this to see if we can actually get to the state where we can feel this state of yoga. It's a very big claim, but let us try it. Okay. So, if we normally sit on the ground, but that's okay, we can sit. But if we can remove our shoes, it really helps, because we are using the Prithvi Tattva. So if we can remove the shoes, it really helps. And it's a very simple process. Sahaj means two things. It means spontaneous and it means simple. Shamadaji would always say, if in order to breathe, you have to jump through hoops, then nobody would survive. So that is what we will try to see if we can get to that stage. So there are 7 or 8 steps that we do. They're very simple. And after that, we will see if we can feel this again on our own central nervous system, if the Mother Kundalini has awakened. If not, what happens is, one of us can work on your chakras a little bit and see. Like in my case, it took me a month to feel it for the first time. But my wife, she went there and she felt it the same time. Depends on our own state, the state of our own chakras, that whether we feel them that or not. So what we will do is, there are 7 steps. We will always keep our left hand like this. Keep the hand like this. We normally keep it towards Mataji's photograph because of the power of her chakras. But keep it like this. And the right hand we start with our hand on the heart. So everything is done on the left side with the right hand. We will start with the right hand on our heart. Then we will bring the right hand to the upper portion of the abdomen, right below the rib cage. Then we will take the right hand to the lower portion of the abdomen, to the Swadhishthan chakra. Then this is where we will ask for the Mother Kundalini to get awakened, for the pure knowledge. Then we will come back to the upper portion of the abdomen, back to the heart. Then we go to the left Vishuddhi, which is this chakra, but we go to the left, almost touching the spine at the back. And at that time we will turn our head to the right, like this. So we are going to the higher chakras. We will take our right hand to our forehead, the Agya chakra, press it from both sides. like we do when we have a headache. Take it to the back where a little bit of a bone is protruding. Put the center of the palm there. Put the whole weight of the head on that palm. And finally, we will take it to the Sahasrara, where we will take the center of the palm to the center where the bone was soft when we were children, the Brahma Taru as it is called. Press it down and rotate it 7 times clockwise. And at this time we will ask for our self-realization. Very simple process. But we will do it with our eyes closed, and I will say affirmations that we will repeat in our hearts. So, but one more thing that I will say is, when we do this, there will be changes in us. We will feel some changes in us. At that time, let us allow those changes to impact us, right? And see if we can get into that state of meditation. Okay? So let us just close our eyes, put our hand on our heart. And we will ask a simple question, which is the most important question. Mother, am I much more than this body, this mind? Mother, am I the pure spirit? माँ क्या मैं आत्मा हूँ? Mother, am I the pure spirit? Again, as I said, things will change in us. Allow them to change. Mother, am I the spirit? The Mother Kundalini is anxious. So let us bring our right hand to the upper portion of the tongue. Press it a little bit, right below our rib cage. And here we will ask another question. Mother, am I my own master? माँ क्या मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ? If I am the spirit will guide me. So the question is, am I my own master? Let's ask this 2-3 times. Mother, am I my own master? Now let us slowly take our right hand to the lower portion of the ground, to the Swadhishthan Chakra, the seat of pure knowledge, the knowledge of the working of the divine. And here we have to ask. Mataji would always say that we have the freedom as human beings to ask. So we have to ask in our own freedom. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. And this chakra has 6 petals, as we know. So we will say it up to 6 times. From our hearts, let us ask. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Now is when the Mother Kundalini starts rising. So let us bring our hand back to the upper portion of the palm again. And here we will say affirmations. Again, as things change, allow them to change. Mother, I am my own master. We are supporting Mother Kundalini. Mother, I am my own master. And this chakra has 10 petals. So let us say it around 10 times. माँ मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ. raise our hand to our hearts. If things are changing, just allow them. Don't think about them. This is much higher than thoughts. Mother, I am the pure spirit. माँ मैं आत्मा हूँ. Mother, I am the pure spirit. This chakra has 12 petals. So we can say this up to 12 times. माँ मैं आत्मा हूँ. Mother, I am the pure spirit. You are not this body is nashwa. It will be destroyed like Kali. You must not. Take the hand to the left Vishuddhi, to the left side again, at the joint of the shoulder and the neck, almost touching your spine, and turn your head to the right. And here we just, without thinking about the past, because we are told all the time, you've done this wrong, you've done this wrong. We are human beings. We are supposed to make mistakes. We have to make mistakes. So, and the divine is an ocean of forgiveness. So just without thinking, say, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please don't think about any past. Forget it. We live in the present. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Say that from our hearts. This chakra is caught up a lot in the West. We are told we are sinners all the time. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Say this up to 16 times. This chakra has 16 petals. That is why he came as a Lingadhara, to break all the rules. No, Mother, I am not guilty at all. No, मैं बिल्कुल दोषी नहीं हूँ. Take the right hand to the Ajna chakra, the forehead. Bend down your head a little bit forward and press it from both sides. And once again, without thinking about the past or anyone, just say, Mother, I forgive everyone, including myself. Remember, if we don't forgive, who suffers? We suffer. So without thinking, just say this. Whether you forgive or not doesn't matter, but at this stage, let the Mother Kundalini go through this. Mother, I forgive everyone, including myself. माँ, मैंने सबको एक साथ क्षमा किया. Then I forgive everyone. It doesn't matter how many times, just from our hearts we have to say. Now we take the right hand to the back of our head, where the bone is protruding a little bit, center, let the center touch it. Bring the whole weight of the head of the palm as much as possible and say, O Lord, O Divine, knowingly or unknowingly, this is for our own satisfaction of the sake. If I have done anything wrong ever, please forgive me. Knowingly or unknowingly, if I have ever done anything wrong, please forgive me. Just say it from our hearts. Doesn't matter, please don't try to go back. Now let's take our palm, straighten our head. Stretch our palms so that it becomes hard. Bring it down on the Brahmatal and press it down and rotate the scalp with the hand clockwise 7 times, each time with our heart saying, Mother, please give me my self-realization. माँ मुझे कृपया आत्म साक्षात्कार दीजिए. Press it down. The scalp should move. Slowly relax your hand and bring it back on your lap. And just try to see if you can become the witness in thoughtlessness and see what's going on in my own being. Beyond thoughts. Take the right hand, again to the top of the head, a couple of inches above the head. Move it a little to see if you can feel a cool breeze, could be warm, coming out of my own fontanel bone. It is very subtle if it is. Without thinking, just on witness. Bring the right hand down and check with the left hand. That's the other channel, the other nadi. It could be a totally different experience. See if you can feel the coolness. It could be warm. If it is warm, just in your heart, say, Mother, I forgive you, everyone. In silence, just say. And bring it down. And once more, with our right hand. And bring it down. Now with our eyes closed, let us once again ask the same question and see if we can feel the answer. As a witness, feel the answer. Mother, am I the pure spirit? माँ, क्या मैं आत्मा हूँ? Mother, am I my own master? Or Mother, am I my own guru? Now very gently, let the right hand drop towards Mother Earth. We will use the Prithvi Tattva, the Mother Earth, to cleanse our left side. Now say, Mother, please remove all blockages, all weaknesses of my entire left side into Mother Earth or Prithvi Tattva. माँ मेरी बाईं तरफ की सारी बाधाएं आप पृथ्वी माँ में निकाल दीजिए. The Mother Earth is very powerful. It can absorb any blockage that we have on the left side. Keep the attention in silence. See what's going on. Now please remove all blockages, all weaknesses, all diseases of my left side into the Prithvi Tattva. Now slowly bring the right hand back. And take the left hand and point it towards the sky. The sky or the ether element or the Akash Tattva can absorb all the blockages of the right side. So let us say, Mother, please remove all blockages, weaknesses, diseases, all the excess heat of my right side into the ether. माँ मेरी दाईं तरफ की सारी बाधाएं आप कृपया आकाश तत्व में निकाल दीजिए. Again, just witness Sakshi. Slowly bring the hand back. Thoughtlessness or nirvichara does not mean that we cannot think. The silence slowly gets established. The normal jumping around of thoughts becomes silent. Allow it. Two or three times, just move your fingers and see if you can notice a flow. Very subtle from our fingers, own fingers. And ask the question, Mother, is this the all-pervading power of the divine that I have started to feel? माँ क्या ये परम चैतन्य है? Ask it 3 times and see what happens. Mother, is this the all-pervading power of the divine that I am feeling? Now we will check our Swadhishthan Chakra. So just see or feel if your thumb on both the hands is lighter, is it hot, is it stiff, is it tingling? If it is hot, stiff or tingling, it's still being cleansed. When the chakra opens up, it becomes cooler. Saridam is what Sri Shankaracharya called it.